Well, hey there, pals. Today, I'm going to chat with you about the 5 components of any great custom GPT or workflow because, like it or not, AI is here to stay. And so, how we use it in our businesses and in our workflows really can make or break how much time, not just how much time we're spending in our business, but the quality of the content that we are churning out. Because, believe it or not, more is not necessarily better, and you can actually kill your content with AI when you use it the wrong way. So in this episode, I'm going to walk through the 5 components of any great custom GPT or workflow because I have figured it out and I want to share this secret sauce with y'all. Hey there, fellow entrepreneur. Welcome to Simple SEO and Marketing. Do you want to grow your business with sustainable traffic sources? Have you heard about the power of search engine optimization and you want to take advantage of it to get more traffic, more eyeballs on your business? But when it comes down to it, does SEO feel complicated and hard to implement? Are you tired of wondering what in the heck to do with your website to get more traffic and more leads knocking on your door? What if I could tell you that there was a simple, proven system for using SEO, blogging, and copywriting to get leads from your website, and not just any leads, high converting leads. Hey, I'm Faith Hannon, wife, mama, copywriter, SEO strategist, and barrel racer. And for the last 8 years, I've been figuring out what works and what doesn't work in the world of online marketing to get organic traffic. And now I'm here to share all the things I'm learning in the trenches of SEO, copywriting, and content marketing. How does 300%, 500%, or even 12,000% more traffic in a year sound? What could your business do with that kind of traffic increase? How many more people could you help? So listen in and prepare to take notes. I'm about to drop simple, actionable SEO marketing and copywriting tips, all with a heavy dose of Jesus-loving encouragement. Let's get you more traffic and more leads so you can help more people with your God-given gifts. Okay, so this sounds kind of funny to say, but truth be told, I was I was a slow adopter to using AI. Not because necessarily I thought it was going to take over the world and ruin everything or like anything like that, but when OpenAI, ChatGPT first hit the market, I played around with it a little bit and I was like, man, this actually really sucks. Like, it's terrible. And for my purposes in my business as a content creator myself, and then creating content for clients and having the agency side of things, I needed it to work for me and not just make more work for me, if that makes sense. And so I played around with it a little bit and I was like, this stinks, bye. And I didn't even use it for a couple of years. Fast forward to April, May of 2025, and on into the summer of 2025. And I got really desperate for help in my business really fast because our nanny that we love so much got married, and we love her and her husband so much, but they got married and moved. And so my childcare just went out the window, and I didn't have a lot of childcare help. It was like 8 hours a week max. And then on top of that, like my childcare moved, my assistant writer and bestie since middle school landed her dream job paying way more than I could. And so my childcare help disappeared and my writing help disappeared. And so I was, not to overuse the expression, but I was up a creek without a paddle, like in a sinking ship. Because I still had recurring client content that I needed to produce. I was under contract and I wanted to do a good job to produce this client content every month. I still had to create my own marketing content, and I still had copywriting clients, like a one-time, we write their website copy, one-time project clients. So I was like, okay. And I just bit the proverbial bullet and I figured out how to make AI work for me. And one of the things that I had been turned off about AI the most with at the beginning was I felt like when I created content, or not even created content with it, when I used it to refine content, I felt like I had to do more editing than actual writing. And it took me longer to edit Chatty's crappy writing than it did to just write the dang thing myself. And so I knew when I decided, okay, I'm going to put AI to work for me, I knew I had to train it to write how I wanted it to write. I knew I had to train it to use the right client voice. I knew I had to train it to use the right voice for me. I knew I had to train it to use the right structure. And so I really just like bared down and decided I'm going to make this dang AI thing work for me. So since then and now, like not quite a year, I've used Chatty so much. I pretty much only use ChatGPT. I decided early on, like I don't have time to learn every platform. I'm going to get really good at one platform. I'm going to pay for the, the better subscription or whatever, like for one platform instead of trying to learn, halfway learn, 3 or 4 platforms. So I got really good at ChatGPT, and that's what I use. You do you, boo, because I know they all work fairly similarly, but what I have used and found to be very efficient when you do it this way is ChatGPT. So I built a couple of custom GPTs. I have several custom workflows, and here's what I've learned, like the good, the bad, and the ugly with how to create the 5 components of any great custom GPT or workflow. Number one is you have to give explicitly clear instructions. Very, very clear expected outcomes and jobs. Okay, so when you're telling Chatty what to do, if you think your instructions are clear enough, give it one more pass. Look at it one more time and make sure that is super clear and actually the outcome that you want. I also make sure that you ask it for A grade work, right? You're giving explicitly clear instructions. You need clear expected outcomes. Ask it for its A++ work. Okay. And then within this point number 1, also make sure that you get a whole workflow of content, not just like one tiny piece that then you have to go connect all of the dots to. So the way that I do this in my business is I repurpose things, like I'll repurpose podcast content into blog content. But I don't just want a blog from that. I want emails pointing to that blog. I want social media posts from that blog. I want a description. I want several pieces within that workflow. So you need to give it clear expected outcomes and clear instructions, okay? You have to give it strict guardrails. You have to give it strict guardrails. You have to say, I need it to be between this many words and this many words. I need it to have this tone. I need this. Give it explicitly clear instructions, okay? Because you do have to remember, you and your God-given smart brain are smarter. You are smarter. You may not be able to do research as fast, but you are still smarter than AI, okay? Number 2, and I kind of hinted on this a little bit in the last point, but you have to give it strict guardrails for tone and purpose. And this is, if you take one thing away from this podcast, let it be this. Giving your AI strict guardrails for tone and purpose is where you can really start to see a difference in like just your generic AI content that does nothing for you, and content that you can't even tell was written with AI's help. Serious business. So those strict guardrails for tone and purpose keep it in the lane and using the words that you want it to use. And this is where I've been really tickled with the audio to SEO custom GPT that I've released. If you all don't have it, make sure you grab it because it is kick booty. But this is where I've been really tickled with that, because I can take a podcast, transcript, upload it, and the blog sounds like me, or it sounds like my client, or it sounds like my student, or whoever's using it, because it has your language to pull from. It's not inventing language. It's not pulling language from random places on the internet. It's getting your language. Now, if you're somebody that you don't have a podcast or you don't have a YouTube channel that you can give it a transcript from, you can totally take your phone, record on your phone, like your voice notes, especially if you are a verbal processor, record on that and then upload the transcript. And then it's going to have your tone. If you're not a verbal processor, what you can do is you can give it several examples of your writing, things that you actually wrote. This won't work for my custom GPT, but this would work for just creating your own. If you are like, hey, I wrote my website copy, I wrote this, I want you to help me reframe XYZ using my tone. giving it actual words from you, your words, is going to help maintain those guardrails for tone and purpose. Number three, AI is way better at repurposing or reframing content than creating it from scratch. It just is. Like, if you sit down with Chatty and you're like, Chatty, I need to write a blog on XYZ topic. Here's the key word. I kid you not, it takes me longer to do that than it does to write the dang blog myself. Because it takes so much more editing and so much more pushback and so much more finagling. It is way better at repurposing or reframing content than creating it from scratch. So if you ask AI to create for you, like from scratch, you're going to get stuff that sounds like anyone else in the world could have written it. You're going to get stuff that sounds like AI wrote it, okay? For your content to stand out, it has to have a human tone, which is why when you are either using my custom GPT or creating your own, or even just creating your own workflow, the tone has to be centered to the guardrails. BT dubs, if you have not ever put AI guardrails in place in your AI, go grab the free download that I've created, AI guardrails. It's going to help you create guardrails for your AI so you can keep it on the road that you want it to be on, sounding how you want it to sound, okay? Number four, and this is where I get really mad at AI. Number 4, you have to give your AI the structure that you know it needs to win. And this is one of the key components to the custom GPT that I created, audio to SEO, is Chatty or whatever AI is going to tell you, hey, this is a good keyword. This is how SEO needs to be done. And it's lying. It's a liar, pants on fire. It does not know SEO. It doesn't know keywords. It doesn't know how to do keyword research. It can't actually get behind like the quotes paywall for keyword research. It can't actually see into the back end of keyword research tools or the back end of Google Analytics unless you upload data. ChatGPT cannot do keyword research for you. Don't let it. It's going to lie to you because it thinks it can. And so you have to give it the structure that you know will win. You have to tell it, okay, I need this many H2s, this many H3s. I need my keyword in this many places, this percentage of places. I need these LSI keywords. You have to give it the structure that you know will win because it doesn't know that on its own. And so if you're just using ChatGPT or your AI tool of choice in a generic way, you're going to get generic content that doesn't rank and doesn't do any good for anybody, okay? I've also seen this to be really true with titles. So when you ask, ChatGPT for title ideas, you're like, hey, give me, 20 title ideas for this. I want them to be this long and, this catchy, blah, 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 blah. Like probably 18 out of those 20 are going to suck unless you upload a title framework that you know works. So I've used a titling framework forever inside of my content and clients' content and helping students with their content. And I have that titling framework inside of Simple SEO Framework and group coaching. And so what I did is I took this titling framework and I built it into the custom GPT because I knew from firsthand experience that Chatty does not know how to come up with great titles on its own. Okay. So the number 4 tip I'm giving you is you have to give it the structure that you know will win, whether that is with your social media, content or your email content or your blog content. You have to create the structure and tell it how to work within those parameters and structure the content that in a way that you want it to be structured. Okay. And number 5 is you have to give pushback. You have to give pushback. And this was really, I think this is like really confusing and kind of frustrating for a lot of people, is they expect this computer to spit something out that sounds human without any pushback. And it just doesn't work like that. And I heard this somewhere, don't ask me where, but I believe it's true because I've seen it play out this way. If you don't give pushback to your AI, you are literally training it for subpar work. The more you push it back, the better it works. And I found this, we kind of accidentally did an experiment in my business. One of my assistants was helping me with some client work. We were taking her blog and we were repurposing some of that blog content for email to point back to the blog, right? Like, we're sending her list an email. Hey, this is what you're going to get. Go read this blog, right? Pretty general, like not earth-shattering strategy here. And my assistant was doing that for me, and I think she gave me like 5 email options, because you always have to edit things. You can't just copy paste from chat, right? You always have to edit things. You always have to give pushback. And my assistant gave me like 5 options from Chatty, and they all sucked. And she knew they sucked. And I was like, did you use my Chatty or yours? And she's like, oh, I wasn't even thinking. She used her Chatty. Meanwhile, the exact same blog put into my Chatty that I have trained for this client, for her voice. I've put in the workflow. I've got the GPT in there. The same client's blog, when I popped it into my very highly trained GPT and this client specific workflow, I got a really great email. But my assistant, just putting it into her untrained Chatty, got really subpar work. And so it was really interesting to see that. So those are the 5 things. If you want to build your own custom GPT, or even just your own workflow for your stuff, here are the things that you have to do. Number 1, you have to be explicitly clear in your instructions and give clear expected outcomes. Number 2, you have to set guardrails for tone and purpose drift. If you don't know how to build in guardrails, go grab the freebie, the AI guardrails, in the show notes. Number 3, it's way better at repurposing or reframing content than creating it from scratch. Like, just don't even try to use it to create from scratch. It sucks. Number 4, you have to give it the structure that you know will win. Number 5, give it pushback. And if y'all have if you have a podcast or a YouTube channel, or you just process better verbally, go grab my custom GPT audio to SEO, because what you're going to do is you're going to be able to take your transcript, plug it into this GPT inside of Chatty, and it's going to give you your emails, your marketing emails, social media, content ideas, like your captions and then post ideas, and it's going to give you an SEO friendly blog draft. Now, you do need to give it a little bit of pushback, but literally within 10 minutes of uploading the transcript and giving a little bit of pushback, I usually have a blog that Yoast is giving me all the green lights for the content part of Yoast. And y'all, that is awesome. You have to give it the keyword. You have to give it the transcript. You have to be the brains behind the operation. But this custom GPT will cut your content creation time down by so much. So I hope y'all are able to grab that custom GPT audio to SEO. Use the code podcast to save 10%, and I'll be back with you next week. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much for listening in today. Hopefully this episode gave you some really tangible tips for better SEO and marketing to get more leads and more sales from your website. If it did, can I ask you a quick favor? Would you please share this episode with a friend, and then just take 10 seconds and go leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. That is the very best way to help more Jesus-loving entrepreneurs scale their businesses so that they can help more people with their gifts and make an even bigger impact for the kingdom of God. And guess what? We now have a Facebook community where we can learn, hang out, and laugh. Go join the Facebook group now. It's linked in the show notes. And all the other things, courses, coaching, and copywriting, can be found at my website, faithhannon.com. Until next time, God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.